Good morning from just north of Rock Spring Hut, headed northbound in the Shenandoahs, where I'm going to come off trail in about 14 miles, so 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, and go to a hostel called Open Arms. Had a good night last night, slept well. The knee I banged up yesterday on trail seems fine today. I'm looking kind of north now, so you can see the sun coming up to my right. It's really a beautiful morning. I got a nice early start at about 7:30. I shared camp last night with a recovering attorney and a fellow by the trail, another fellow by the trail name of Central PA, who's hiking with him. And then there was a cabin near it also that you can rent. And in the cabin were 5 or 6 young college-age guys. Hiked out this morning to see that sunset from the other side of the mountain. Everything is good. I had a blister a day or so ago on one of my toes, which I'm not going to bother to share that kind of stuff because we've all seen blisters. But it's healed up well. I got a little bit of damage on my trekking hole panel on my handle of my trekking pole from my fall yesterday. And then we also shared camp last night with, in addition to the 2 bears, the 2 deer I showed you in the previous video, with a couple of skunks, actually a family of skunks this morning, like 6 of them, who would not leave us alone. Fortunately, we didn't get sprayed or anything, so I think I'm going to get to hiking and count my blessings that I didn't run into a bear and didn't have a skunk gas me last night and got a good night's sleep. So it's about 7:30. I'll try to shoot a little more video when I get to sites or when I get to break spots. So hope you all are having a good morning. Data out for now. I am really appreciating that I decided to hike at the very end of winter and just before spring in the Shenandoahs, because I keep coming across places where, even though it's 40 plus degrees this morning, getting up to 50 or 60 later on today, the ice is still hanging onto the cliffs, weeping out of the side of the mountains in places, right next to where the moss is starting to grow, because it's warming up enough for that to happen. It's really, like watching the forest come to life after a long winter's sleep. Something else. So I'm about 1 hour in, and I've covered about 2 miles, and I came upon a stream, but I think I'm okay on water for now. Makes a nice backdrop. So I'm on the west side of the ridge, so I'm in the shade, even though it's warming up. It's not too hot. I've been making good time. I'm going to try to log, I think, kind of once an hour today, being true to my trail name, and create a record for myself of how the day is going. So this first almost 2 mile segment was up and down. There was one rock scramble, which I had to slow down a lot for. I'm sure Pennsylvania will be worse, but it was good practice. Probably as much up as down, and I haven't seen anybody yet. Of course, it's only 8:30, and off in the distance the sun is coming up even more on the mountains. And right up there is where I came from late yesterday, and off in the distance is the valley where I'll be headed later on today. So I think that's it for this update, except to say it's a really pleasant morning to come across a actively flowing stream after an hour of hiking. So this is my second 1 hour brief standing break of the day. It's 9:30. I've covered 3.4 miles. The last mile was actually pretty cruisy. There was a little bit of a climb and a few small rock scrambles, but other than that, it went pretty quickly. And I'm at a little rock cropping and had to stop to tie my shoes, so I went and took my break. As you can see, I'm still on the west side of the ridge, so I'm in the shade, thankfully, because it is warming up. You can see the shadows and the sun cast on different sides of the mountains from whence I came earlier today, and then again back out over the valley. And the views are just about non-stop so far today, but the hiking's been pretty easy, so really happy that I started in the Shenandoahs. I'll see y'all again in about an hour. So it's 10:30 or so, and I'm at the end of a break I took at Skyland Ranch, about, I don't know, 4.8 or 5 miles in on the day. So the break's a little ahead of schedule, but Skyland Ranch is closed, so I thought I'd stop by and see, you know, it was a comfortable place to sit and all that, and it is closed. That's a good thing, because if it was open, I'd be hanging out. It's a really, really nice spot. So I think Mrs. Data and I will come back here, restaurant and all that. But nice thing was there's still some outside benches that I could sit on, and took a little pack off, shoes off break. And there's a couple of fellas here on a work crew doing some painting and some wood repair and stuff. And they were generous enough to provide me with some trail magic. So first I yogied some water off of them. They offered me some soda pop and some iced tea, and then lo and behold, that is a fresh Krispy Kreme donut right out here on trail. So how about that for trail magic in the morning? So I had a nice conversation and confirmed my reservation for Open Arms for tonight, and now I think I'm going to hit the trail again. So again, it's only about 10:30, then about 5 miles, and it's a beautiful day for hiking up in the Shenandoahs. So it's 11:30 now, and I am 6 miles into the day's hike, which means I'm moving on my usual about 1.5 miles an hour pace. It's not fast, but I'm getting used to it. It did include a couple of relatively easy climbs. I have a lot of downhill left. Today, I'm taking a little hydration break, not a pack off break or anything. But I'm also going to take a little brief video of myself here next, just because folks have said they like being able to put a face to the name and the video channel, and I'm halfway through my day, so I look pretty hikery right now. So give me just a second, I'll pop that up for you. So I don't know what kind of a view I'll get on this, because I just stood the camera up, but here's what I look like midday hiking with part of my stuff unopened. So, happy trail. This is the way from which I just came, and this is where I'm going. That's level, that's uphill. It's not too steep. I'm 7.6 miles into the day, and there's a water stop in about 1.2 miles at the Pinnacle Picnic Grounds. Trail's been relatively flat, but at only 7.4 so far, my pace is slowing down a little bit. So I think I need to take that break that's due in a mile or two, and rest up and fuel up, and maybe have some additional calories. But and the sun is out, so it's also heating up a little bit. But birds are singing, and it's a beautiful day. I've seen a handful of day hikers. The trail is in really good shape. I've had a couple of small blowdowns to walk across. And other than that, I guess I'll get back to hiking. So I'm 9 miles into today's hike, and I found the first water north of the Skyland Ranch. Water that I got from a local trail angel, a guy working a construction crew there. And it had to be at this spigot. This is the rest of the picnic area, which is very nice but not opened up yet, so the drinking fountain things aren't turned on, and there are some construction crews doing work, but there were some people out having lunch. But just be advised, if you're hiking northbound after Skyland Ranch, the trail is pretty dry until you get to the Pinnacle picnic area, and then we have to find this orange tap, which is one of those manual lift them up tap. I'm assuming this is not potable, so I'll go ahead and filter this. But I am going to take my 2/3 of the day break here. It's a little picnic pavilion. I'll sit in over there with the shoes off, pack off break for about 15 or 20 minutes. So I am relieved to have found water, because it is very dry between Skyland Ranch and the Pinnacle camping area. Pack off, shoes off break at the Pinnacle picnic area. I had about 5 miles left to go. Confirmed my pickup ride, and on the way out I visited the privies. There's a dual privy here, and they're unlocked. They're open. They even have a trash can and hand sanitizer, although they suggest that they don't want you to put food waste wrappers and stuff in there, but I don't know, in a pinch maybe you could. And then there's another faucet, like the one I found up top. It's actually labeled as frost-free, and it's working just fine too. So Pinnacle Campgrounds was a big success of a find today, and I kind of stumbled on it, so I'm not sure. I'm going to double check documentation on Far Out. I may add something there. I did find it on the AWOL Guide's little paper fold-out waterproof map I'm carrying, but this is a really good spot for a nice afternoon break when you're about 5 miles out of Thornton Gap. There's some kind of little cabin here. I don't know what that's all about. And the picnic area has fire pits and stuff, so it's be nice for other than just through hikers also. So anyway, it's been a good break, and now I got to get back on the trail. So I just had to catch a quick video clip of this sign, which just made me chuckle. You know, it's accurate. The path runs right in front of this, right through the picnic area. But it's just funny because there are signs like this all along the AT, and for many of us, for myself in particular, this is kind of where the dream began, right? You took a little family vacation somewhere and you had a picnic and you saw a sign like this, and somewhere in your brain something went wrong, something snapped, and you thought, yeah, no, not a short hike. Let's hike the whole 2,000-mile footpath. I don't know why, for a small segment of us, this seems like a good idea. Not to hike a short hike, but the whole 2,000-mile footpath. But for a little tiny microcosm of American culture, this sign is the beginning of a dream. So I thought that was pretty cool. So this is my 2:30 standing break to hydrate and have a snack. And I'm about halfway up toward Mary's Rock, which will be my last big climb of the day. And then from there, I got a mile or so to go to there, and then I got a couple of miles basically downhill into Thornton Gap. And since I was able to hydrate nicely at the Pinnacle picnic grounds, I'm pretty fueled up and ready to go. So it's been a little bit of a climb, but again, nothing like the stuff down in North Carolina and Georgia that I did last year. So I'm really glad I started here in the Shenandoahs, where there are climbs and they're healthy, but they're not the backbreakers that I had down in Georgia especially. Okay, well, that's it for this break. I'm gonna hydrate up and get on my way. So this might be one of my last videos for the day. I think I'll have one more from Mary's Rock and then a summary tonight. But this is a viewpoint. I'm about 11.5 or something into the day, and I have about 2.7 left. And the trail turns out on this really nice precipice and rock formation, and I'm just hoping that off in the distance there what we see is a controlled burn. I know there are a couple in the area, but also the park is very, very dry. I talked to a couple of trail angels the other day whose conversation I'll detail in a different video, who shared that between the last 2 years of drought and the spring we've had so far and Helene last year, trees are coming down left and right. And hikers would be wary coming through the park that the S&P has a campfire restriction right now. It may or may not apply to your camp stoves, and the place is just wicked dry. There's plenty of water in the southern third coming out of streams and whatnot, but the park itself is very dry, and a lot of the creeks that you might want to rely on for a water source are a little thin right now. So let's all hope for some rain here in the very near future. And I got about a couple hours of hiking left, and I'll be at Open Arms Hostel. So here it is at the end of the day. I am mid-pack explosion. As you can see, this is all basically the non-consumable stuff. And then on another bed over here, I have my food supply stuff. This is most of a food resupply for a 2-day run that I'm going to make, trying to go from Thornton Gap in the Shenandoahs to Front Royal, which will be out of the Shenandoahs. It's about 2 14-mile days back to back, and I know that may sound like a lot, but I just finished a 14.4-mile day, which was my longest day ever. And I'm spending the night at the Open Arms Hostel in Luray, and our hostess took me to Walmart to resupply. And my bag's over here. I'm just showing you the whole room because it's early enough in the season that when you hike early, you get an entire hiker room to yourself instead of sharing it with 3 people. Which, I mean, it'd be fine to share it with 3 people. Nothing wrong with that, but it is nice that I have a lot of space to explode my pack into different categories of things and just leave it sitting on the floor. So, so far, you know, all is well. The banged up knee from a couple of days ago, or from yesterday, was not too much of a problem today. The climbing was pretty serious. I went past Mary's Rock without going on the side trail. Sorry about that late start. I was just bushed by that point and decided that I would save that for a trip later on with Mrs. Data. And over here I got a charging station going on where I'm uploading videos and processing things and charging all the other stuff while I have some late night trail mix snack. Also made a couple of trail buddies. 2 guys from Pennsylvania who were doing a flip-flop southbound, who I met last night at the Rock Spring hut, and who came back here today to do some resupply and strategizing. And we had some pizza together tonight and talked about hikery stuff. And it was kind of a good conversation. I learned a lot. It was very helpful. And so now I'm going to finish processing videos and hit the hay. It's just a little bit before 10 o'clock, and my day is about done. So this is Data, about 2/3 of the way through the Shenandoahs, saying happy trails to each of you.